Disha. You may be wondering why I am wearing a suit, standing up, and actually being a bit more professional with this, and that is because today is a very special day. That's right, Disha, it is Friday, December 17th when you are watching this, and that means it is time for the Project of Awesome. That's right, Disha, us nerdfighters, we're taking over. YouTube is officially ours from now until the 18th. But what exactly are we taking it over for, you may ask? Well, as you may notice if you go on YouTube quite often, it's oftentimes filled with things like cat pictures and people doing stupid things and me yelling at video cameras. But not today. Today, Disha, all except the third one are not going to be there. What you're going to see instead are people like me and people all over YouTube talking about charities that we feel are important. Hence, the Project for Awesome. Now, there's some other things going on as well. I'll put all the information in the doobly-doo below. But for now, let's get started. One of the problems that comes with living in Connecticut is the reputation it gets. We're the richest state. We're these, big people of New England. We're all fancy. And I guess if you go to some places of Connecticut, there's truth to that. But not everywhere. We're the state with one of the largest achievement gaps overall. Now, that's a pretty big deal. That means while there are some schools and some school districts that are accelerating, and accelerating extremely well, some are doing incredibly subpar. There's many different factors for why there'd be an achievement gap this big, but the main one is the school district itself. There are many school districts out there that are failing, losing accreditation, and don't really have all the necessary tools to properly educate students and get them into colleges and put them on the right track. And Hartford happens to be one of those central hubs. You probably know about some of the issues Hartford's facing, but I'm not sure if you know about every little problem they have. No one can claim to, not even me. Hartford is having issues not only with things like graduation rates and test scores, but even basic literacy. For example, Disha, in Hartford, only 55% of third grade students are on reading level. 55. A little more than half. Now that's scary. I'm not sure how much you know about psychology, but there is only a very small window in a child's development when their brain is able to absorb all the information they need in order to progress and do well in life. That window tends to be from 0 to, depending on your source, age 3 to 5. And that time is key for a student to really get out there and explore and interact. And that, sadly, is where Hartford is failing the most. One of the great things about the city of Hartford is how diverse it is. And while it's really cool that there's so many people of so many different nationalities and cultures in Hartford, it does present a problem sometimes to the students. Because many of them aren't speaking English at home, it's hard for them to bring their schoolwork home to get the help they need, and that does sometimes cause them to fall behind. Now, I'm not going to stand here and just scare you half to death the entire time. I'm here to offer a solution. And one of those solutions is a charity very near and dear to my heart, which is called Achieve Hartford. Links below. Achieve Hartford is a nonprofit organization that works to promote Hartford school reform by putting pressure on those who can really make a difference, such as business leaders and politicians, and really going out there to make sure that the students come first. Achieve Hartford works day in and day out to help improve the Hartford school system as a whole, so that way we can improve the ever-increasing Achieve gap here in Connecticut. It's a newer 501c3 that really works to promote leadership in the city of Hartford itself. They do many things throughout the year, including having community spelling bees, having speakers come in, going to events, being at events, just really making sure that people understand that these students need help. And Disha, today is the day where we can give that help. One of the things Achieve Hartford really works to promote is Hartford's school choice program. That means that unlike Avon, where unless you go to a very expensive private school, you go to Avon High School, there are many different public schools in Hartford you have the ability to choose from. And from those public schools, they focus in many different things. Hartford High School has concentration in law, in science and engineering, in nursing. There's also a sports academy. There's a school for journalism. There's many different options. These options range from elementary schools all the way to secondary high school. So you really have the ability to put yourself on a fantastic track at a young age. This program is already doing great things to help Hartford Public Schools, but there's still a lot of momentum needed to put this program in the right direction. And to top it all off, Achieve Hartford is a very small 501c3. There's a handful of workers there, literally. But we're not here to look at numbers. We're here to look at change. Achieve Hartford, despite its size and despite its difficulties, has already began to move mountains. So you may ask yourself, I don't live in Hartford. These aren't my students. This isn't my problem. And that's the problem with Hartford itself. Disha, despite Hartford's large population, it seems like Hartford is nobody's problem. If you look back in Connecticut history, Hartford used to be a very big trade capital, used to have lots of industries, lots of growth, lots of everything. And look at it now. Hartford's known as one of the worst cities in the country. If you go there at night, it's deserted, it's bare, there's nowhere to really have a good time. Hartford needs help. And that's why, for this Project for Awesome, I'm reaching out not just to you, Disha. I'm reaching out to everyone who's watching this video. You may not even be from the state of Connecticut. You may not even be from New England. But this is my plea. Hartford needs us, and Achieve Hartford needs you.
There's information about how you can donate to Achieve Hartford, and then every penny of that goes back to helping improve the community.
There's information about how, if you do live in Connecticut, especially in the Hartford area, how you can get your opinion out there and how you can help.
You can sign up for their newsletter, Education Matters, which has plenty of information about the status of Hartford schools and new things that are going on that will hopefully lead to improvement in the future.
But most of all, Disha, there's information about the kids, and they're the ones that come first. Information about the schools, information about how we can get the information about student choice in their hands. Disha, remember how I went to Boston this summer and I took a class in urban affairs? One of my projects was writing a fake executive summary to the person of my choice, asking about a program I'd be interested in. I wrote one to Dr. Stephen Adamowski, the superintendent of Hartford Public Schools, explaining a program I had come up with for having reading programs in elementary schools to kind of help this problem about non-English speaking families and so many children being below reading average, because that's what it really comes down to. I know that I may never get this sent out, and I know that my voice may not be heard by those who matter, but it's not my voice. This is the voice of YouTube. This is the voice of all the nerd fighters. A voice that many people don't seem to take seriously. And I beg you tonight, to please, take me seriously, take Hartford seriously, and take the children seriously. Disha, I'll see you later.